Hello everyone! Today we're going to deal with some workbook and grammar exercises about Module 2 and 3 and then some cross-curricular activities. Let's start with some vocabulary exercises. Now, the first one is you should fill in with the words on, out, up, off, which should be used twice, or off. Let's start with the sentences and you think about the right answer while I read them. They have gone on a trip to visit the remains, the ancient settlement. The designer clothes sale at the market are not genuine. Sally asked me to pick her from the train station. We're staying at a quiet place, the beaten track. Paul lives off a suitcase. He has been traveling around Asia for 3 years now. We need to set to catch the ferry. The next exercise, exercise number 2, is about underlining the correct form. Now, I read the sentence and you think about the right answer. The mountain with 2 peaks is a famous monument, landmark, or ruin. The guide took us on a long walk through the lush, barren, or sparse forest. When you're in a foreign country, you should respect the religion and habits, customs, or manners of the people. Jenny is just going to wander, or sail around the city today. Be careful with the difference between these 2 words and choose carefully. You'll need someone who knows the area to guide, direct, or escort you through the forest, as it is easy to lose the way. Were you able to find the answers? If so, let's check them together. Now, the first one is visit the remains of the ancient settlement. In the second one, the designer clothes on sale. Then we got pick her up from the station. We say a quiet place off the beaten track. We say to live out of a suitcase when you travel a lot. And you need to set off to catch the ferry, which is the phrasal verb. And the right answers for the second exercise are a famous landmark, the lush forest, respect the religion and customs of the people. You say she's going to wander around the city. And the last one, who knows the area to guide you through the forest. Let's go on with another vocabulary exercise. Now, it's about word formation. Please think about how you should use the word in the right form while I read it. This is the word, and try to put that within the sentence as good as you can. The climate is becoming warmer and drier. How can be gradual be put in here? The weather forecast said there's a slight of snow tomorrow, and you're supposed to use the word possible. Failure to return would mean the end of negotiations and is the verb agree, which should be used here as a noun, so please be careful. The environmental group deals with the of dolphins, is the verb to conserve. Have you been making regular to your local charity, and is the verb to contribute. She tried to make them change their decision. It's the word success. Matt sold all his and migrated to Spain. It's possess. And the last one, David has no of standing up and speaking in public. And in this case, it's the verb intend. Please try to be very careful with the spelling while writing the words in their right form. Were you able to find the right answer? Let's check them together. So in the first one, gradual becomes gradually. In the second one, possible becomes possibility. Then agree becomes agreement. Conserve becomes conservation. Contribute becomes contribution. Success becomes unsuccessfully. Be careful, it is also an adjective and an adverb. Possess becomes possessions. And the last one, intends, becomes intention. Let's move on with 2 grammar exercises. Now, you're given two sentenences and you will join them using the linker given in brackets. The first one, the holiday was perfect. We stayed an extra week. Join them using the linker so that. I had never been abroad. I went to France on a school trip, and you will join them using the linker until. The villagers were generous people. They invited us to join in with their celebrations. Join both of them using such and that. And the last one, we arrived at the port. They announced all voyages were cancelled due to bad weather. And you will join them using the linker just as. While in the second exercise, you're supposed to complete the sentence. Now, you should join Greenpeace, he told me. It starts with he encouraged. Now, how can you change the sentence without, of course, losing the meaning? Shall I buy this? Yeah, she asked herself. She wondered. You don't care about global issues, he said. He complained. There's a blizzard coming, he said to us. He warned. So, as you were able to understand, these are all sentences about reported speech. Now, if you thought about the answers, let's check them together. So, the sentences here are joined in this way. The holiday was so perfect that we stayed an extra week. I had never been abroad until I went to France on a school trip. The villagers were such generous people that they invited us to join in with their celebrations. Just as we arrived at the port, they announced all voyages were cancelled due to bad weather. Now, in the second exercise, the sentences should be changed in this way. He encouraged me to join the Greenpeace. She wondered whether or if I should buy that. He complained that I didn't or I don't care about global issues, which means both of the forms can be used here. And the last one, he warned us, or you can omit it, that a blizzard was coming. Now, another grammar exercise. You are supposed to complete these 5 sentences with one word only. Please remember that the short forms count for 2 words apart from can't, and even a single article such as a or an counts as a word. Now, the next meeting will place on Friday at 3 p.m. That's far much to pay for a cotton t-shirt. The day will be overcast with a high chance snow later tonight. Fred, house had been burned down, had to stay in a temporary accommodation. Attendance was low at the local theater that they canceled the show. Now, were you able to find the answers? Now, here are the answers for the given exercise. The first one, the first word you're supposed to write is take, and you got the expression take place. Then it's to, which becomes far too much to do something. Then you have the word of, resulting in the expression a high chance of something. And in the fourth one, you have the relative pronoun whose. And in the last one, you got so low, which becomes so low that. Lastly, we're going to deal with some cross-curricular activity, or the famous content and language integrated learning. Now, here is some information about Yellowstone National Park. You might have heard of that, but however, so that you have an idea of it and for cultural information, let's read something about that together. Here are 2 pictures of Yellowstone National Park just for your curiosity. So, Yellowstone National Park, which has an area of almost 9,000 square kilometers, is located mainly in the state of Wyoming in the USA, although it also stretches into Montana and Idaho. The national park is renowned for its wildlife and natural beauty. Yellowstone contains lakes, rivers, waterfalls, canyons, mountain ranges, and forests. It has also got half of the world's geothermal features, such as volcanoes and, most famously, the Old Faithful Geyser. The human history of Yellowstone dates back more than 11,000 years. Many different tribes of Native Americans lived in the area of the park or used it as a hunting ground. When the first Europeans arrived, it's just over 200 years ago, they found their way to the area and settled there. In 1972, Yellowstone was established as the first national park in the world by the US government. So, this was all we had prepared for you today. Thank you all for your attention.